Hello, genealogists, it's Craig, and this is Just Genealogy, and today is Book Sunday. I love Book Sunday because it gives me the opportunity to touch books I haven't really touched before because they've been out of print or they're brand new. So the first book on today's list is Dr. Andrew Turnbull, and that deals with the new Smyrna colony of Florida. It's been out of print for a long time. It was originally published by us in 2016, but originally published in 1919. And it deals with the new Smyrna colony. I've actually been trying to get this one back into print for about a year, and we kept having issues with the printer, and finally they all got solved, and finally. Now we have an author out there, his name is David Brunn. He's a retired Navy commander, and he writes a lot about boats and ships. And he has just written a book called Send Some King Ships, and it deals with U.S. Navy, Royal Navy, Patrol Service, and Royal Canadian Navy ships combating German U-boats off North America's eastern seaboard, and RNPs and South African Naval Forces vessels in African waters as well, 1942 to 1945. It's what you call niche. But he does a lot of these books. He started out with Minesweepers. He does a great job. He's a great author. It's very readable, and there's a lot of information about people who were involved in those various things. And he's involved individuals who were very active in these kinds of things, and talk to them. And some of them are involved, like he involves some of them as co-authors. Like one of his co-authors for this book is Lieutenant Commander Rob Hooley, who is retired Royal Navy. So we're actually selling these overseas too. We have a new genealogy, and that is the Comfort Carpenter and Elizabeth Phelps Parkham family from Dover, New Hampshire to Stansted, Quebec, with Leighton, Huckins, Huntington, Carpenter, Brewster, Bachelador, and Amos Phelps family ties. And it's based upon Robert Earlby Pinkham's genealogy from years ago. Alan B. Hamilton continues to add to his Northampton collection. He's about run out of things to do in Northampton. We've recently put into print the Northampton County, Virginia Personal Property Tax List 1863 to 1870. And I love these because they allow me to know things about people that I wouldn't know otherwise, and where they are and that kind of thing. Now, the next set of books is part of our Antient Press Ruth and Sam Spracio collection. These books have been out of print for quite a while. Essex County, Virginia, Will Abstract 1743 to 1744. I think that's the last one of the Essex County collection that needed to be done. Then we have some King George books. Two of them. One is King George County, Virginia Inventories, 1745 to 1765. And King George County, Virginia Deed Book Abstracts, 1780 to 1787. I think we may have one more King George book to do. I'm not sure. I think this is the last Northumberland book of the bunch. Order Book Abstracts, 1674 to 1677. So it's now back in print also. And then the Lancaster County Will Book, 1690 to 1709, is back in print. And then the Lancaster County, Virginia Deed Book Abstracts, 1706 to 1710, is back in print. So glad that those are back. We still have about 75 Spracio books out of print, and we're working diligently to get them back into print one by one. So from Genealogical Publishing Company yesterday, or actually the day before yesterday in real life, not in YouTube life, but I received several books from Genealogical Publishing Company that will be in stock at Heritage Books, and you can also get them from Genealogical Publishing Company. I personally am sold on Heritage Books, and you know why, but they're still available from Genealogical Publishing Company also. One of them is Free African Americans of Maryland and Delaware from Colonial Period to 1810, second edition. This is one of the Paul Hennig books. If you're an African American and don't know Paul Hennig, I'll do a talk on his books at some point in the future, but definitely they are a resource for research. He also has a list of free African Americans in the American Revolution from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, and Delaware, followed by the French and Indian Wars and Colonial Military. So those two books are available. A lot of people have interest in the involvement of Spain in the American Revolution. A lot of people aren't aware of it. And there is a book out there. It's actually not a new book. It's been around at least for a year that I'm aware of. And I think he just sent it to me because he knew I'd be interested in it. But he's already done that once before. So it's From Across the Spanish Empire, Spanish Soldiers Who Helped Win the American Revolutionary War, 1776 to 1783, Arizona, California, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Texas military rosters. Not only is there now a book on Spanish involvement in the Revolutionary War, but if you're unfamiliar with it, there is a French book called Les Combattants, I can't speak French, that deals with French involvement at the individual name level of individuals in the Revolutionary War, and it's by unit. And it was originally I think a 1906 or 1909 Senate document that was done jointly with the French government. And we also have published that, and it's also available from Heritage Books. David Dobson is a prolific author of Scotland and Scots-Irish things for at least 40 years, if not longer. And he now has a 2-volume set on Scots-Irish Links. And this deals with parts 1 through 8. Volume 1 does. And I think that actually these are available as individuals, and this is the first time they put them together all in one book. And then Volume 2 deals with parts 9 through 11. And then also later Scots-Irish Links 1725 to 1825, parts 1 to 3. And Scotch-Irish Links 1825 to 1900, parts 1 and 2. And there's an addendum to latter Scots-Irish Links 1725 to 1825 in Volume 2. Dobson also has a new book out on Scots in Poland, Russia, and the Baltic states 1550 to 1850. Largely, in my mind, most of these Scots in these areas are mercenaries, and they're escaping Scotland for a variety of reasons and earning their living elsewhere. So those are today's books from Book Sunday for the new books in print. Let me talk about these books very quickly. These books were originally published by Origins out of Wisconsin, and then the rights to them were bought by Maya's Books, and then Maya's Books transferred the rights to them, or the ability to publish them, to Heritage Books. And these are very popular. We actually sell a lot of these. If you're a German researcher, and I have not talked about, in all my 100+ videos, I've not talked about doing German research, and one day I will. But these are excellent books for dealing with getting people on the ground and where they are on the ground once you have the name of a place and that kind of thing. And they are lands of the German Empire and before. Remember, Germany's a strange place. It's very disjoint, and then it all comes together, and then it falls apart, and then it all comes together again. So lands of the German Empire and before. And what you'll see is that it's full of maps of the various areas of that empire and information about how things change over time. And then timelines and those kind of things. So the chapters of this book are States of the German Empire, Prussia, Eras of German Political History, Lands of the Holy Roman Empire, Rivers and Ports, Rulers of Major German States and Dynasty Families, and then a glossary, and then internet sources for town lists. Great book. Then the next book, it's sort of a companion book, which is similar but uglier in that it has very detailed maps that the other book doesn't have. So there's a little bit of information. There's a bit of an overlap, but meaning that it is talking about the same subject. Now, there are 3 other books which are even more detailed, but they deal with 3 specific areas. One is Alsace-Lorraine. Now remember, Alsace-Lorraine is that place that's French and German. In it, there is a whole bunch of maps that are ugly, and ugly maps are the best. And then there is a place names section that is half the book, or maybe a little bit more than half the book, that deals with these place names as both German and French, and whether they're Protestant or Catholic, because these places tend to be one or the other. This book in Alsace-Lorraine is a great help if you're dealing with that area of France and Germany. And then there's one on Baden. And again, same concept, maps, and then the place names in Baden. And these are also divided into Catholic and Protestant. Now, the combination of this book with the German parish registers book that I haven't talked about is marvelous. Maybe I should talk about those soon since I have them all in stock now. And then the other one is Pomerania, and Pomerania I think is Prussia, and it has basically the same things, maps and place names. You cannot Google everything. So we will make those 5 books available to you for a 20% discount, and we're just going to call it Maps 20. Maps 20. And so those are available at a 20% discount. First 25 people. Yeah, it's so funny. I do this all the time, and I offer these discounts all the time, and one person will buy the book. So it's sitting there with 1 used and 24 sitting there, just waiting for the 10,000 subscribers that we will eventually have at Just Genealogy when I'm 90, hopefully sooner. So, did I say so again? This is Craig with Just Genealogy. This has been Book Sunday. New books from Heritage Books, new books from Genealogical Publishing Company, and books on Germany, maps, place names, books you ought to have if you're doing that kind of research. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow.